Story 1 Original Post. Am I the a-hole for making my teens share a bedroom? Throwaway account. My husband unexpectedly passed away a few months ago, and I became a single mother to 3 kids. Age 16, male, 14 female, and 2 female. Due to the significant decrease of income, I was no longer able to continue renting where we were, and all I can afford is a 1-bedroom apartment. Currently, I am sleeping in the living room with my youngest 2 female. I gave the bedroom to my 16 male and 14 female and asked them to share in the meanwhile. I tried adding a privacy screen in the middle so they feel like they have their own space, but they are telling me that this isn't acceptable. Each of my kids used to have their own rooms, so this is a massive change for them. I have been looking for a better paying job for months and so far have had no luck. I can't get a second job because I can't afford to pay someone to care for my daughter, 2 female outside daycare hours. Neither of my kids, 16, male and 14 female, are willing to help, and they say my youngest is not their responsibility. I know this situation isn't ideal, but I don't know what else I can do. For the past month, I've not been eating anything for 2 days a week and just telling the kids I'm trying out the fasting trend for weight loss purposes. But the truth is, I can't afford to feed us all, and I have been using the food bank. Prior to this, I had never had to use food bank services before, and I am so thankful that it exists. I am both thankful and deeply ashamed at the same time. Would I be the a-hole for telling my teens that they must share the bedroom? Would it be better if I suggested my son sleep in the living room with me and have both my female kids share the bedroom instead? I do not live in the US, but it is not common for teenagers of opposite sex to share a bedroom. That is something I do absolutely recognize. Edit. Gosh, I really wasn't expecting so many responses when I checked back. Thank you, everyone. All this time, I did feel it would be unfair to put adult problems on my kids. However, I will be giving them a surface-level talk about our finances. I'll also be bringing them with me to the food bank. Hopefully, they'll be more understanding. Edit 2. The bedroom is larger than the living room. I am able to fit 2 single beds into the bedroom, and the kids have space to store their clothes while still having the room divider in the middle. The living room is smaller. I currently have my youngest and my own clothes stored in the hallway due to lack of space. It is right next to the washroom and kitchen, so there is a lot of foot traffic. The living room also doubles as dining space because there is no dining room. Now for the comments, not the a-hole. Explain to the kids what is happening and that you are trying to fix the situation. Take them to the food bank with you. They need to know that you're doing your best during a difficult time. You don't need to hide this from them. They're old enough to understand and likely will be helped by knowing what's going on and why. You can't shield them from this, but there's a good chance you'll get a better response from them if you include them in your decision-making that affects them. Hope better things come your way soon. Not the a-hole. Not a-hole here. Your teens are old enough to know your financial situation. If they really want their own rooms, then they're going to need to help, either by babysitting so you can get a second job, or by getting jobs themselves. It would probably be better if you and your daughters shared the bedroom while your son sleeps in the living room. This is important. I would sit down and talk with them about how the financial situation has changed and how some sacrifices must be made to still have a place to call home. I shared with my brother until I moved out at 20, and I helped my mother with my 3 younger siblings when I could, but I kept having issues in school due to the stress. If possible, maybe talk to your son about getting a part-time job to help with expenses and allowing him more freedoms to go with the added responsibility. I hope you can push through these hard times. Not a-hole here, my condolences. Not the a-hole. Literally, what do they expect you to do? I get that they're upset, but they're both old enough to understand that things are tough for your family and you can't magically make an extra bedroom appear. I don't think I'm comfortable with 2 minors who just lost their father, their family home, and their privacy in a short period of time being called a-holes. Deeply unrealistic and in desperate need of a reality check. But a-holes? They're kids who have suffered a lot of loss and change. It also sounds like there could be some resentment towards the 2-year-old. Maybe that's only since their dad died, but maybe that's an issue that was allowed to fester for a couple of years before that. If there's no money for food, there's likely no money for therapy to help them process what's happening around them. Honestly, maybe the best thing OP can do is clue them in on the family situation a bit. Let them know just how hard life is and give them the opportunity to develop a more mature perspective. If there's anything in anyone's soul, learning mom isn't eating 2 days a week to feed them should be a wake-up call. Update. I had a chat with my kids after work. I still don't want to put an adult problem onto my kids, so I only gave them a brief overview of the dire financial issues we're having after my husband, their father, passed away. Us downsizing to a one-bedroom apartment was not by choice. I also told them the truth about how I couldn't afford to feed us all and why I didn't eat 2 days of the week. I was afraid of how they would take the news, but it had gone better than I expected. My kids will be coming with me to the food bank for the next trip to help out. In terms of the rooming situation, both my older kids agreed that they did not want to share a room with my youngest 2 female because she frequently wakes up at night and also has accidents. They also don't want to share with me because I get up much earlier than them to work, and it would disrupt their sleep. They would rather share the room with each other while I continue to sleep in the living room with my youngest. My 16 male and 14 female told me that their friends were saying no kid should ever have to watch their sibling because they didn't create them. They've been told by their friends that it's parentification to be asked to babysit for even an hour, and it is never okay in any circumstance. That was why they kept calling me an a-hole when I asked if they could help with childcare so I could get a second job. Now that they know how bad the situation is, my son said he wants to find a part-time job to help contribute. My daughter apologized and said it wasn't that she hated me or her sister. Both my son and daughter said they are willing to help take care of the youngest so I can get a second job. Hopefully, I can find something soon and be able to move to a larger space. Now for the comments. That 4th paragraph. Reddit is destroying an entire generation of young people. Social media in general, really. That really struck me too. They've been told by their friends that it's parentification to be asked to babysit for even an hour, and it is never okay in any circumstance. I'm willing to bet I know which subreddit they got this line from. Good for you raising kids that understand nuance. Hopefully it will rub off on these friends. I think it's only parentification if they have to babysit frequently. To ask your older child to watch the younger one once in a great while is normal and not a form of abuse. Frequent babysitting is not parentification. Making a sibling a parent is parentification. Eyeballs sweating. Sounds like you're raising good humans, Mama. May good fortune shine down on your family. Hopefully I can find something soon and be able to move to a larger space. I do hope you find a good second job, but be clear with your kids. Being able to save some money for an emergency, it's wiser than moving to a larger place. Of course, life would be easier living on a bigger apartment. However, being financially secure should the main focus. I hope telling them the exact financial situation you are all in brings you closer. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend Christmas dinner at my husband's childhood home after years of being treated as an outsider? My husband's male 33 mother passed away, and his father remarried 5 years ago. Since his father's new wife moved into my husband's childhood home, a 6-bedroom mansion, things have completely changed. What was once a warm family home now feels unwelcoming. The unequal treatment has been consistent over the years. My father-in-law once yelled at me for holding a wine bottle incorrectly, and I've watched year after year as my brothers-in-law received thoughtful Christmas gifts while I got nothing. Last year, while I was pregnant, I received nothing, but my father-in-law rushed to give my brother-in-law his gift the moment he walked in. When our son was born, they came to the hospital empty-handed. No gifts, no food, nothing for the baby or me. In contrast, when my sister-in-law gave birth, everyone, including us, brought generous gifts. We gave her a full care basket with massage vouchers and clothing for both her and the baby. This year, for our son's first Christmas dinner at the family home, we were told we could only stay for one night, while my husband's sisters and their families are staying for the entire holiday period. They claimed there isn't enough space, despite having 6 bedrooms. This means we would need to make a 90-minute drive back home with our baby after dinner. They even called to tell us we need to bring our own bed sheets for our one-night stay. I told my husband, I don't want to go at all. I'm concerned about not only the practical issues of traveling with a baby late at night after a big dinner when we have an early flight the next day, but also about my son growing up seeing this unequal treatment within the family. My husband is asking me not to make things worse, but I feel like we're already being treated as second-class family members, and I'm done with tolerating this. Am I the a-hole for refusing to attend Christmas this year? Now for the comments. Not the a-hole. Your husband is the a-hole for tolerating this treatment of you and your baby, and for suggesting that you should continue to be exposed to it. Agreed. Husband is the a-hole here, not the a-hole. Your husband needs to step up and have your back, not the a-hole. Whoa! You have already tolerated way too much, and so has your husband. Pull back. Start your own family traditions. See dad and stepmom when it suits you. Imagine how your child will feel when they realize the inequalities they will suffer compared to their cousins. Stop this right now, not the a-hole. Their message is loud and clear. You're not welcome. You shouldn't have to subject yourself to that. This is exactly what I feel. Unwelcoming. Like, who treats family like this? It's my son's first Xmas and I want it to be special. I'm stuck on your husband telling you not to make things worse. I hate to think of how it could get any worse. Bring your own bed sheets? What the hell? You and your husband's primary responsibility and focus is now your child. Holidays should be absolutely magical, and it's your job to do everything you can to ensure that. So if husband's dad and the extended family impede that, then you stay home or go where your child experiences the magic of the holidays. If you don't do that, then that's how you make things worse. I'm curious too. Any family is not better than no family. Those who just take and take leave you with less for those who actually care. I'd ask husband, why is he happy for them to treat his wife and son this way? Why do none of his family stand up for them, or even treat them fairly? They all do it. Just spend this year with little one at home. Send husband with gifts for them. Everyone gets a big fancy box with a $5 Claire's gift card. They can't complain, because what did they get? Your family, eh? Cute, but this year, first time ever, I only got something for my child and my husband. They are not worth a dime of my money. Understandable. I just like the little slap of, I thought of you in this. This is what I thought of you. Other options. All women get clothes 2 sizes too big or too small. Edit to add. Clearance rank 90% off cheap brand clothes at that. The only guidance is that it is dirt cheap and way too small big. Could be funny, but husband wouldn't let it happen. Plus, last 2 years they somehow always forgot to get me anything. So this year was so fun, only got my son the best development toys. What the hell? Do they even love their son? Your husband? I have serious doubt about this. Like, who tells you to bring your own bed sheets? This is family, and I know there is a whole wardrobe full of bed sheets. Plus, they know we just moved to a new apartment this week. I'm still unpacking, and I don't even know where my box with most of my bed linen is. So sad. Your husband is still trying to get acknowledgement from his father. That he doesn't want to make it worse mean that he has accepted his role in the family. Is he the scapegoat? Definitely do all you can to not go at all. Everyone will be happier. He basically agrees to this treatment. We have had major arguments about this before. Nothing seems to help. No matter how bad it is, he still won't go no contact. But he forces me and my son to now be involved in this, and I just don't want to. Not the a-hole. Your husband is asking to not make it worse? How could it be worse? Honestly, no contact would be better than this disrespect and unequal treatment. Doesn't it hurt him every time you and him get the short end of the stick? Does he want his own son to feel that same hurt in a couple of years? If they don't change, it's better to rip off the Band-Aid now, so your son will be loved by everyone around him. This may be a harsh reality for your husband, I get that. But he has to realize that this is hurting him, you and your son. He has to call out his family on their behavior and stop doing everything exactly like they want to. Call them out. Hopefully it will be a reality check for them. If not, cut them off. There should be no room for hatred in your son's life. I wish I could. He has begged me not to say anything since to him any family is better than no family. But in my view, it isn't. I watched my mom host my dad's family for years, slaved away in the kitchen while they barely got her flowers from the gas station, and always treated her as lesser due to her race. I still remember this as a child, and I do not want my son to see this. We have different backgrounds and do not come from the same country originally. Story 3. Am I the a-hole? I, 31 female, had my daughter, 5 female, donate her toys before Christmas. This year, my daughter wanted to participate in our country's version of Angel Tree. I agreed with the condition that she would need to donate the amount of gifts from her toy collection we would be buying for the child. The toys my child donated would not be going to the child whose list we picked, but to the local daycare who had asked the community for used toy donations to their playroom. My daughter happily agreed to this condition and chose her 3 least favorite toys to donate. We purchased the toys and other asks on the child's list and wrapped them together. We made a time of it and played carols as well as had Christmas snacks. I wanted this to be a positive experience for my daughter. Yesterday we had my family's Christmas celebration. My daughter was telling my mother, 52 female, about her donating her toys and getting to buy toys for another child that needs them. My mother was outraged that I forced my daughter to donate toys and that I was being harmful to my child by instilling dislike for charity in my daughter. My sister piped up and agreed with my mother, saying I wasn't being fair by forcing my child to donate her own things to participate in charity. I tried to explain to them I was teaching my child that donation costs us personally, but feeling of doing good for others is the payoff. My child doesn't want for anything. She has had more than 3 toys given to her already for Christmas, toys she preferred over the toys she gave away. I have left the family gathering feeling very emotional and upset. My daughter is confused because she thought she was doing the right thing by donating her toys and is upset that I was crying on the way home. I'm pretty sure I did the right thing, but I was berated by my mother and sister for nearly an hour about my parenting choices. Edit. I have realized condition is probably the wrong word to use in the circumstances. My daughter asked to participate in the Angel Tree, and I suggested and encouraged her donate some of her own toys to the local daycare alongside our donation. She enthusiastically agreed and was completely in control of what toys she was donating. We were well overdue a toy decluttering, and we're going to be doing this after Christmas anyway. This way, she was able to be the one to decide which toys we decluttered and got the bonus of feeling like she was helping others. If she had refused, I wouldn't have pushed the donation, and we would have still donated to the charity she chose. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole, I love you for doing this. When I was a kid, my parents had us round up and donate all our old toys that we no longer wanted or played with. We felt so good and purposeful and helpful, knowing that we were giving other kids toys and making them happy. It made us kids feel like such good little people. We were proud of ourselves. I remember that feeling vividly. One of my formative memories is selecting a spinning Mulan character top from a McDonald's Happy Meal for the already full donation box, and I still feel good about it when the memory pops up in my 30. Your daughter probably felt that same pride welling up in her. She made other kids happy. What a wonderful little girl she knows she is to share and be generous, and to get rid of old toys in a way that isn't wasteful. I'm so sorry that your family spoiled that positive experience for you and your daughter. If someone had taken that proud, good feeling away from me as a kid, I'd have been distraught. Seeing from both your and your child's perspective, not the a-hole at all. She was so excited to tell my mother. She was proud of all the donating she got to do and how she got to make someone feel special. Watching that light be snuffed out the same way my mother did that to me as a child has me realizing I need to reassess the relationship and boundaries I have in place. Thank you so much for the comment and insight into how it made you feel as a child. I hope I am able to rebuild those feelings in my daughter after this experience. Take your kid to some normal person and let her tell them what she did. They'll give her the positive feedback anyone would expect in this situation, and your daughter will recover the joy she had. I might give my in-laws a call and ask them if they can be a very forthcoming with praise on Christmas Day, and I'll try encourage her to talk to those relatives about what happened. I doubt they need to be asked to encourage her actions, but I'm sure a little extra praise will help cushion what she experienced from my family. Not the a-hole. Your family is claiming the right to parent your daughter. Your daughter was perfectly happy before their meddling. I suggest giving them some serious consequences for this, so that maybe they'll think before meddling again. I have a very strained relationship with my mother and sister already. I hadn't spoken with them for 5 years before my daughter was born, and only contacted them as I wanted my child to have them in her life. They begrudgingly respect the boundaries I have in place, but they have been pushing them significantly more lately. I think I need to discuss with my husband and reassess the relationship I have with them at this point. It was fairly normal for me to leave the family home in tears, but this is the first time it's happened in nearly a decade. I think you need to return to no contact, or at least low contact. This kind of thing is very damaging for a child, as you well know. Why did you let them treat you that way for an hour? You're not a child anymore. You can get up and leave the minute they start to abuse you. Please set stronger boundaries. That includes leaving their presence right away when they start to treat you or your daughter or husband with any disrespect at all. You're absolutely right. I let my fear in the moment stop me from acting to protect myself and my child. My husband is firmly pushing no contact at this point, and I am having trouble finding a reason to not agree. He was sent outside with my stepfather to BBQ lunch before this happened, and was the one who packed us up and left when he came inside and realized what was going on.
Thank you for listening. If you like the video, consider like and subscribe. If you want more stories like these, turn on your notification to receive the latest stories.